Happy Tuesday. Hope this week is treating you well so far. Welcome to Rwanda Television News. My name is Gloria Mutesi. Officials recently appointed to various positions by President Paul Kagame have vowed to use their experience to build upon the confidence that has been placed on their abilities, working to ensure that communities play a more active role in local developmental projects. We have this report courtesy of Saj Nore.
Nyaruguru district in the southern province was the best performer when it comes to the 2019-2020 performance contracts, with an implementation rate of 84%, and the man who led that district for the last 10 years has now been appointed the governor of the western province. Francois Habitejeko replaces Alphonse Munyantwari. Certainly, having served as a district mayor is going to help me, because I am now to coordinate activities in more than just one district. There is no doubt that the time I spent as a mayor is going to help me in my new responsibilities. As you know, all government policies and projects revolve around local communities. Therefore, you cannot properly implement these policies and projects if communities are not involved as they should be. In fact, I can tell you that some policies can only be implemented after communities understand them. So those are the people we are going to strive to work with more. This is a method we are certain about because we have tried it and got good results. The Eastern Province also has a new governor, Emmanuel Gasana, who replaces Fred Mufuruke. Gasana once served as the governor of the Southern Province. In the north, Dansila Nyirarugero has been appointed the new governor. She had been a university lecturer until her appointment, as well as an official in Rwanda's Anglican Church.
A person cannot succeed in isolation, and so cooperation is going to be a very important aspect of my leadership. Everybody must make their contribution. I am therefore asking the beneficiaries of development projects to see them as their own and not think that they are the sole responsibility of officials. Nothing can be achieved when communities do not work and participate in such things. I am therefore asking people in the Northern Province to work with me, because it is our province after all. We should not expect anyone to come and develop it for us, if we are willing to do it ourselves. Let us therefore work together, and every single local resident should feel that the development of the Northern Province is their responsibility.
53-year-old Jean-Marie Vianney Gatabazi has joined Rwanda's cabinet for the first time following his appointment to the position of Minister of Local Government, replacing Professor Anastase Shaka, who had served in that capacity for more than 3 years now. Gatabazi once served as a member of parliament and was the governor of the Northern Province since 2017 until his latest appointment in the Ministry of Local Government. I was pleased with the appointment, but these are serious responsibilities. We have performance contracts that were signed in the presence of the President of the Republic that must be honored, with the participation of local communities, the private sector and local leaders. For national development to be achievable, this must be done. Everything is about delivery, and every leader must be accountable for what he or she must do for their people. So it does not matter if you are a provincial governor, district mayor, or an executive secretary of a sector. You must be held accountable. When such people perform well, the dividends are plain for all to see, and certainly worth it, because serving your people and this country is a source of pride. Another to be joining the country's cabinet for the first time is Beata Habyarimana, who replaces Soraya Kuziaremye as the Minister of Trade and Industry. Soraya Kuziaremye will now serve as the Deputy Governor of Rwanda's Central Bank. Beata Habyarimana has been working in the country's financial sector for the past 18 years and says she intends on relying on that experience while fulfilling her new responsibilities.
I can take on continuing on what my predecessors are doing, but when I look at it with hope and optimism, because we have a good system, we have a good structure, we have evolving policies and procedures, we have an open and favorable framework, we have people from outside seeking for investing directly in Rwanda, we have the youth which wants to go to innovation and technology, we have good programs like Made in Rwanda, we have the industry locally, which is really, I would say, positively supported to be embedded, not just for Rwanda, but also for the African trade. So I would say that when I look at it, I am optimistic, I am happy, I am willing to just continue the pace, to take it where it has to be.
The new provincial governors must first be approved by the Senate before they can begin their duties, while the cabinet ministers must be sworn in before the President of the Republic.
Thank you, Serge, and congratulations to all the newly appointed people. Now moving on, a cross-section of traders has welcomed the decision to increase working hours and the lifting of movement restrictions between Kigali and the provinces. Fiona Mbabazi continues.
For more than 2 months, relations between the city of Kigali and other provinces were reduced to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The reopening has been hailed by traders and workers alike. These past 2 months, we have been waiting for customers, but we haven't seen them because most of them are from the other provinces and districts. We were left with customers in Kigali city, and as you can imagine, they were not enough. Traders have hailed the extension of the working hours and resumption of the inter-movements between Kigali and other provinces. They say they will not move from the preventive measures that have been put in place to protect themselves and others. We were waiting, and now we are going to be vigilant again because there are going to be a lot of people coming from different places. We're happy that the travel restrictions within the provinces have been removed and that the vaccines have also arrived in the country, and also the vaccination process is ongoing. But this does not mean that we should stop from being vigilant.
I could not go to Huye. It was a challenge. I had a sick person and I could not take medicine to them. Now that the travel has been resumed, I am very happy. I have taken the medicines. I will be vigilant and take all precautionary measures.
At the Nyabugogo taxi park on Tuesday morning, the hustle-bustle of the day had not fully resumed, as just a few passengers were on ground. Drivers assured that they will not deviate from the COVID-19 prevention guidelines in place.
What we encourage passengers is to properly wear their face masks, then go buy their tickets, and then we encourage them to pay electronically without exchange of liquid cash, because that can infect others with the virus. We now carry 75% of passengers.
The heads of the provincial buses companies are also ready to follow the instructions and urge the passengers to comply. Health Minister Dr. Daniel Ngamije says that although some measures have been taken, especially those related to vaccination in the community, the analysis shows that the pandemic is still.
The picture we see in our analysis shows that we still have the disease. We still have people with COVID infection. Even though vaccines are being offered, we are not getting enough figures to say that we have stopped COVID from spreading in the community.
The revised measures which took place on Tuesday were approved by the Cabinet on Monday and stipulate that curfew hours starts from 9 p.m. all the way up until 4 a.m. Businesses and other establishments are to close by 8 p.m.
Now, activities to transform the Kigali car-free zone have now begun, and the area is to be given the name Imbuga City Walk and become a recreational area for the public. As Gabi Muvunyi tells us, the zone will accommodate pedestrian and cycling lanes, green corridor landscaping, a food court, an exhibition zone, as well as a kids' playground.
Heavy machinery, construction workers, demolition of sidewalks is the current scene on KN4 Avenue, also known as Kigali Car-Free Zone. The car-free zone was first initiated in 2015 to aid in decongesting the capital's central business district. The vision was to transform the zone into a public space where people can freely move without any inconveniences from vehicles. However, vendors received this with mixed emotions, worried that it would take away their customer traffic. But now they have hope that this new project will revive the livelihood of the street that once was.
When they crossed this road, the number of customers drastically reduced. That is why you can see that several shops closed down. But for us, we have been here for some time now, even though keeping up with rent has been difficult. With this new project, we hope that people will visit our shops more.
The plan to transform KN4 Avenue is to ensure that this space is more diversified, social, and inclusive of the public space, which will allow city dwellers, visitors, and tourists to experience a new kind of urban tourism. The zone will accommodate a pedestrian and cycling lane, green corridor landscaping, a food court, an exhibition zone, as well as a kids' playground. Citizens expressed the impact this project will have on them, as well as on the CBD.
Having a lane for pedestrians and a different one for cycling lane will create more order. It will be very nice. This will definitely be an area to come and just relax after work.
There wasn't anything much going on here for the shops and restaurants around. Many people stopped visiting them. But now, the more people will be walking on this street, the more shops they will visit. Kigali City is partnering with Singaporean company on this project. Speaking to the head of urban planning at City of Kigali, Solange Muhirwa explains that one of the major goals is to have as many locally made products in the exhibition zones. She adds that the City of Kigali is working on developing other parks and green public spaces around the city.
We want this space to be vibrant and active, to facilitate basically the citizens to have a public space where they can sit and enjoy and relax. The space we have a free Wi-Fi, like the city garden we have here. It will facilitate people to meet and discuss and chill. We expect to see the public benches and the public toilet, the kiosk, a landscape part. This street has 3 sections. It has a section called a high street. It started from the traffic light from Ecolberg to KCB. It has kiosk and landscape and playground for kids and public toilet. And the second section, it is called City Plaza. It is in front of the City Hall. And it will have an entertainment space, City Lounge. It has a space for sitting areas.
Other recreational areas in Kigali include gardens and roundabouts where people may sit and interact with others. Some of the big green recreational areas include Rwandex Park in Gikondo sector, Nyandungu Urban Wetland Ecotourism Park, Kigali Cultural Center on Rebero Hill in Kichichuro sector, the Meraneza Recreational Space, which is developed by Fazenda Senga on Mount Kigali, Juru Park, and other recreational spaces that are being constructed.
As you can see, construction of Imbuga City Walk is underway. This project is estimated to take 3 months. This project is targeted to attract more recreational activity in the CBD of Kigali. Gabi Muvunyi for RTV.
Many thanks, Gabi Muvunyi, for that report. Now, World Social Work Day is celebrated on 16th March and is a key day in the year that social workers worldwide stand together to advance common message globally. The theme for the World Social Work Day 2021 is Ubuntu, I am because we are, strengthening social solidarity and global connectedness. I earlier had a conversation with Miss Juliana Lindsay, the country representative of UNICEF in Rwanda, about, among other things, what role social workers play in building a sustainable, fair, and a socially just future.
You know, social workers play an incredibly important role, both here in Rwanda and elsewhere in the world. They're able to identify, to recognize people who are struggling, whether it's children, whether it's family members, whether it's individuals. They can recognize when they are having difficulties, whether it's putting food on the table, whether it's a mental health issue, whether it's an abuse issue. And they can either help these people with their own skills, or if necessary, they can refer them to healthcare professionals, to mental health professionals, so that they can get the support that they need.
And what have been some of the challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic has presented in the line of social work, and in particular children in this country?
There have been a number of challenges. Number one, when the movement has been restricted, it's been harder for social workers to access families to provide the support. It's been a very positive move that after a while, the government designated them as essential workers, so they were able to move around. UNICEF also provided the Izu, the Inshuti Zuriyango, with airtime so that they could stay in touch with families, at least on the phone. But, you know, we've realized that because children are not in school, because families are frustrated, for a variety of reasons, many of the reports of child abuse to RIB have actually gone up. And this is not unique to Rwanda. We see similar situations in countries around the world. We also see situations in other countries where children are reporting more depression and even more suicides. We haven't had as much of that here because the reporting is different perhaps, but in general, mental health of young people is a significant concern.
Are there initiatives in place, or the ones that could be put in place to strengthen the social service workforce for child protection?
Well, first and foremost, Rwanda is lucky to have the Inshuti Zuriyango, the Izu, in all of the villages around the country. When you think about having 30,000 people who are volunteering their time, their care from their hearts to check on children and families and either address issues right then and there or refer them to professionals, that's a huge asset that Rwanda has. We do also need to make sure that we have additional professionals in the workforce. And the Rwanda National Organization of Social Workers is a very good step. It was just established last year in order to make sure that we have a professional body of social workers that can support each other, that can advocate for certification, for additional social workers in additional districts. That's a very good move on the part of the country.
Well, it's evident that social workers play a really significant role, and there's a concern, however, in the increasing gap that has been created, especially by the COVID-19 pandemic, in the social service provision in all countries, but in particular developing countries. What are some of the policies that we should adapt to address these gaps?
It's a good question. You know, there are two main issues. One is the professionalization that I just mentioned, making sure that in addition to the Izu, the Inshuti Zuriyango, making sure that we have the professional cadre of social workers in all the districts around the country. And second is making sure that social work is prioritized in funding. You know, people can't do this work for free because they need to feed their own families as well. So it's even in restricted budget situations, it's important to find ways for the government to be able to pay for social workers in all of the districts and ideally even in all of the sectors when that becomes possible financially.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure catching up with you, Ms. Juliana. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for your company as always, and the plan stays the same. So wear your face mask and do all that is required of you to stop the spread of the pandemic. God bless you and keep you. And until next time, I'm Gloria Mutesi.